Kia ora e te whānau, morena atamarie from wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my channel Wairoa Wellness. My name is Bouquet. I am talking from my living room in Ōtepoti, Dunedin, Aotearoa, New Zealand. So thank you for coming here today. If you like what I'm talking about, give me a wee thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hey! What we are talking about today is duality and polarity. This is video 2. If you haven't watched video 1, I will pop a link in there. You can go watch that anytime. It actually flows in nicely into what we are talking about today. So duality and polarity. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into how we can apply that to ourselves. So, let me put my drink down. So let's dive into it, shall we? So if darkness is not separated from light, if polarity is a spectrum and not a battle of opposing forces, and if we are on a journey of wanting to embody more light, bring more light within ourselves, then how can we apply the understanding of duality and polarity to our own lives? How can we apply that to ourselves personally? Because philosophy is beautiful and it's cool to know stuff, but wisdom can only come from lived experience, from embodiment. In the last video, we explored the idea that duality is a construct of the human mind, because the mind divides, the heart doesn't divide. The mind divides. It likes to compartmentalize and categorize and label and put everything into its own box so that the human mind can fathom existence and reality, both internally and externally. So we also learned actually that polarity, not separation, may actually be the deeper structure. So let's bring that inward and take a deeper look. When you experience sadness, does that mean that you are separated from joy? When you experience contraction, in the last video we looked at someone who is experiencing sadness or depression or the lower frequency energies, and the energy is in contraction. The expression of their energy is contracted and they are like this. They don't want to go anywhere, they don't want to see anyone, they don't want to do anything. Reduced expression. And then we looked at someone who is having such a great time. Life is amazing. I want to go dancing. I want to go for coffee with my friends. Everything's great. Their energy has space. Space. There is expansion. There is increased expression of energy. So we've all experienced contraction. So when you feel contraction, does that mean that you are separated from expansion? Or do these movements show that everything is along an internal spectrum, fluctuating back and forth, or fluctuating up and down, whichever way you want to look at it? If you imagine again the line, adjusting the brightness level on your screen, darkness at one end of the line, light at the other, and you are in a moment in life where you are at the darker end. It can feel pretty ragged, hey? It can feel permanent sometimes. I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of this one. I've hit rock bottom this time. Why does this constantly happen to me? It can feel like that. It can feel permanent. But if darkness and light are on one continuum, then that means that movement is always possible. Not because you fight the darkness, but because you increase awareness. And awareness is the path to consciousness. And consciousness is the higher frequency that is light. If you look at it this way, how can you recognize light if you never experienced darkness? How can you understand clarity if you've never experienced confusion? So contrast gives meaning. Darkness does not oppose light, it actually reveals it. And light reveals dark. Even your most difficult seasons in your life may have sharpened your perception, may have given you fresh perspective, may have deepened your empathy, deepened your compassion, may have deepened your awareness, expanded your awareness. You may have learned things about yourself you never knew were possible. I can't believe I got myself out of that. Look at me go. In that way, darkness serves the light because it defines the light, and light defines the darkness. The darkness helps growth. In the philosophy of yin and yang, if I can work out this whole doodaki of putting in a visual image up here for you, I'll try to put one of the yin and yang symbol up here for you so that you have something to look at while I'm having a wee natter. So in the yin and yang philosophy, light and dark are not enemies. They are complementary forces where they each contain the seed of the other. Masculine and feminine, dark and light. I think I said that around the other way. Anyway, so each contains the seed of the other, and each flows into the other. And when one dominates completely, it means that there is imbalance. So when both are acknowledged, there is flow. When both are integrated, there is flow. And so it is not about eliminating darkness. It's not about overcoming darkness or fighting darkness or battling. It's actually about integrating it and becoming the balance that can hold both forces in balance consistently. If there are any Star Wars fans watching this, you've got the Dark Force and the Jedi who constantly talk about, who also work with the Force, but they constantly talk about the need to bring balance to the Force. George Lucas knew his stuff. Actually, my next video I want to be talking about balance. There is this really cool Hermetic principle that I love, and I keep going back to this one because it can be applied to so many things. As above, so below, as within, so without. It suggests that the patterns that we see in our external reality are mirrored from within us. Polarity exists in the cosmos. It also exists in nature. It also exists in the human psyche. Your inner world is not separate from your outer experience. It's that macrocosm and microcosm. The way that you perceive reality, the patterns that you repeatedly encounter, the energies that you resonate with, so the people that you bring into your closest circles, that you have as your closest confidants, the partner that you choose for yourself, the entertainment that you choose for yourself, the information that you choose to tune into to fill your mind, all of it often reflects frequencies that already exist within you. Now, sometimes we may tune into frequencies that we may perceive as negative, and it is a difficult perspective to think that those frequencies could exist within us. So when we come up against that, when we find ourselves hitting that and it's triggering a reaction from within us, this is where we can use our external environment as a tool to help us identify where we need to grow. Because if we find that we are tuning into something that is triggering a reaction from us, then that is a really good clue that those frequencies exist within us, and we need to do some work on integrating those frequencies. Internal work needs to be done on those frequencies, and they don't exist within us, and they don't come into they're not mirrored in our external environment as punishment or as blame, but simply as resonance, because we tend to tune in to what matches our internal state. It's really interesting when you start to view your external reality not as something external from you, as something that's happening out there, over there. Oh my God, look at what's happening over there. I can't believe that's going on for them. I'm so glad that's not going on for me. I need to do what I can to fight that, to end it. But we can actually use it as a tool for our own growth, using this principle as within, so without. So as above, so below. Let's look at this one, this part of the Hermetic principle. As above, so below. If we imagine we've been looking at the spectrum going horizontally, darkness to light, let's actually flip that and view the spectrum going up and down, just for the analytical mind's sake, to visualize the spectrum. As above, so below can also be understood as a spectrum. As much light as you are capable of embodying is equal to the depth that you are capable of reaching within yourself, that you are not even aware of. The higher your awareness rises, the deeper your unconscious must be integrated. And I say that you are not even aware of because once upon a time you were not aware of how high you can reach. So there are unconscious levels within us, unconscious levels, and each at its own threshold, each at a different threshold. And you meet that threshold, you sit there, you integrate until you're ready to continue growth, meet a threshold, you sit there, you integrate, grow, meet a threshold, you sit there, you integrate. It's a constant reaching up, diving down. The higher your awareness rises, the deeper your unconscious must be integrated. The spectrum is whole, is a sphere, is whole. You cannot expand upward. As a sphere expands upward, you cannot expand upward without your sphere also expanding downward into shadow, into darkness, into truth. Truth and honesty, darkness and shadow, they are complementary. And this is, the shadow work can be tricky, can be hard, can be difficult. It's not easy. It's hard to take an honest look at ourselves sometimes, isn't it? It's hard to integrate our darkness. So it is not something to fear. It actually can be a very useful tool to help you grow. It is balance. It is about bringing balance, bringing that balance back to center. If our external reality reflects internal patterns, then inner work becomes powerful. As we become the master of ourself, of our own journey, because we influence how we meet it, how we interpret it, and how we respond to it. It becomes our responsibility. The more awareness we have, the more responsibility we have to bring balance within ourselves. If you want to master yourself, you must take responsibility for your own journey. It's the only way to become the master of yourself. Take responsibility to bring balance to yourself, to become the living yin and yang, to allow light and darkness to coexist without internal conflict, without internal war, without this thought, I need more light to fight darkness. We need more people to wake up to fight darkness. We need to battle darkness. Because one cannot exist without the other. As above, so below. They can coexist if you are the balance. When you encounter darkness within yourself, it is not proof that you have failed. I've heard quite a few say that humanity is failing, that we're failing the planet, that we're failing ourselves. But darkness is not proof of failure. It is proof that you are experiencing an internal spectrum and using it to adjust and grow. It's proof that you have met a threshold that needs to be integrated. And perhaps it is an invitation. Your higher self, let's take a look at your higher self just quickly, just for a quick second. Your higher self is your future self at a higher frequency. So if they are your future self, they have already been where you are now. They've been sitting where you're sitting. They have done all their hard work. They have done everything necessary to bring spirit into matter and get to where they are, to go up through the planes, through the dimensions, and they are holding their hand out to you, inviting you to do the work. You can do it. You've done it already. I am here. I am proof to you that you have already done the work. Keep going. You are on the right path. So when we meet these thresholds where negative energies arise, where we tune in to negative energies that are being experienced in our external reality, these are an invitation for us to grow. Not to view them as a failure, not to view it as a battle of light versus dark, but to grow internally and integrate, to increase awareness, to allow more consciousness, more light to be embodied, to bring more spirit into matter, to bring light gently to what was unconscious, to restore balance, to be the balance. So just to close out this video, it's a lot longer than I expected. So, is darkness separate from light, or is it light at another point of the spectrum? If as within, so without is true, then the balance that we cultivate internally shapes the way we experience the world externally, right? So maybe the work is not choosing light over darkness, putting one over the other. Maybe the work is becoming whole, holding both ends of the spectrum with awareness and allowing harmony to emerge from within, to be the balance. Kia ora.